This is the Real Good Procast with your hosts, Declan DeBarb, Ian Blumenthal, and Marshall Heath. Can we just start the damn podcast?
I'm waiting on Declan.
Okay, so what's first on our list today here, Declan?
Why don't we get going here at the Real Good Procast? Declan DeBarb, Ian Blumenthal.
What's up, everybody?
No Sebastian. No
Marshall.
Marshall today. We got
But we
producer
got
Seb.
Prod
Yay.
Seb on the pod today, having a good
Prod
time.
Seb.
Prod Seb.
Boo.
I feel all the love.
We love him.
That slightly hurt my eardrums on that, but you know, whatever.
So there's a lot to get to today. Edmonton had a week, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. But for listeners that tuned in last week, recap on the Colonel By Classic. What happened? It was all in anticipation of that big game. And who won, Declan?
Well, it was the Carleton University Ravens, and what a game it was. I don't think you
Hell
guys
yeah, brother.
watched it, but
No, I totally watched it.
yeah, we had Jacob Hanlon of the GGs on last week. I bet he's pretty upset that they ended up picking up the L to Carleton, their crosstown rivals. It was a very, very good game. The GGs led for most of it until they blew it with 5 minutes left, and Carleton
What was
scored
the
a couple
score?
of goals in quick succession. It finished 4-2-3 for the GGs.
What
for
was
the Ravens.
What
Whoa.
was the lead from the GGs?
The GGs had a 2-0 lead.
Okay.
Then Carleton scored, and then they scored again to make it 3-1, and then the Ravens came all the way back and almost won it right before the end of regulation.
I just really want to add today that Declan was playing his GM mode in Chell, and I come downstairs, and I go, "What's up?" And he goes, "Oh, Leafs came back from a 3-0 deficit in the Stanley Cup final." And then it was a tie game 3-all, and he was super hyped, and he looks at me, and then with 3.7 seconds left, the Sharks scored a goal to win the Stanley Cup.
No.
And I laughed so hard.
That just hurts.
It might be my saddest moment, but I blame you for distracting me because I had a clean breakout pass with Timothy Liljegren playing on a pair with Nikita Zaitsev, who is a goddamn monster. And we almost
He's really
won
good
the
in the
Stanley
game,
Cup.
eh?
Oh, you know who else is really good in the game? Milan
Yeah,
Lucic.
that's true. He's got a shot and a half.
Would you pay him $6 million for his shot in Chow?
Yes.
Just in Chell, though, not
Just in
on
Chell,
the
like,
ice.
he doesn't snipe. He just lays people out. That's why he gets paid $6 million.
Fair.
So,
Hashtag Goon Squad.
Fourth line goon squad.
what do you mean? First line, he plays with McDavid.
It's literally that.
Yeah,
It's like
fair.
an enforcer with Gretzky.
Okay, why don't we talk about something a little happier before we get into the depressing dark hole that is Edmonton
Hey, what about the Blues?
and the Blues? I mean,
They have the
It's
Blues
just-
right now.
it's,
But more the Oilers.
Yeah, more the others, though.
Seb, that was the worst pun I've ever heard.
There's worse coming.
I hope not. Okay,
I
but the
love
Leafs
it.
sweep California.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Yay!
First time since '95.
Yeah, I think that's right. The first time in our lifetime.
Well, didn't the last time they beat the Sharks in the Shark Tank happen like Randy Carlyle era?
Yep. And Frederick Anderson had never won in San Jose,
And he
which
won.
is crazy.
Yeah, because he played with the
played
Ducks.
in Anaheim.
He played, 2 games in a row then?
Yeah, but he might have just not like played at the Shark Tank that much, and if he did, he probably just lost all those games because the Sharks are better than the Ducks.
I
ever
just
were.
think it's crazy. No, yeah, but they beat two teams that they expected to beat, the Ducks and the Kings. The Sharks
And the
game was
Sharks-
so entertaining.
It was a good game.
I mean, we stayed up for all of them, and our sleep schedules aren't very happy, but it was some good hockey, and I can't complain.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed every one of them. They were all fun games to watch. I wasn't really bored in any of them. The least entertaining one I thought was LA because after they
I think it
scored
was the
5,
Ducks, man. The Ducks game was barely watchable, but the
I
Kings
think
game they
the
dominated
LA
from
they
the
just
off.
dominated it for like the whole game, and then they just went up 5-1, and then they were like, I don't really want to score anymore. So, and like you could feel it.
They should accept
But
it.
it's hype though. It's hype that they won 5-1 and they could have definitely gotten more. Like if they kept rolling lines all night, they could have gone 10. But they wanted to keep rested to play the Sharks because the Sharks are really good.
Yeah, and they picked up up out in LA, San Jose, and Anaheim.
And then they also won against. They also beat Columbus last night.
Yep, and that was
And a
all
big 2-0
without
comeback.
Matthew.
Big 2-0 comeback.
And it's all without Matthews.
It was awesome.
Marner's lighting up the league. Tavares is lighting it up.
Man, Freddie's lighting it up. He's got an assist, baby. Wasn't it? He had more primary points, even strength than Line this season.
Primary
When he got
assist.
that
Primary assist.
No,
yeah.
primary points. If you don't count second-handed.
Well, yeah, but Line has more goals than him.
No. Line hadn't scored an even strength goal because one of them was when they were 6-on-5. 7. I don't know if it's anymore. Maybe he.
I'm
scored
pretty
one.
sure it's primary assist, but yeah.
Because because he had 7 power play goals and 1 on 6-on-5, and then he had none on even strength yet, and then Freddie had an assist. I think it was when it happened though, so I don't.
I'm
know
pretty
if
sure it's
anymore.
primary points, but yeah, it speaks to how bad Patrick Laine has been doing out in Winnipeg. But
Like not even that bad though. Like he's got almost 10 goals now. 9 or 10.
he's just such a, and not to say this in a bad way, but
Streaky player?
he's streaky, and but
You could say that about Matthews.
he has more good streaks than he has bad streaks.
Yeah, he has
You could say that about Matthews though.
he's very high highs and very low lows.
Yeah, no, but I do think that Matthews is better, but that's not for now discussion because I don't want to get into an argument with some guy on Twitter.
Well, then I don't think that this is the right episode to do because there's a lot of Edmonton.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't respond to Albertans on Twitter much because they don't like the Leafs fans very much, so I just steer clear of that side of Twitter.
I mean, we had some technical difficulties on our last show with a lot of dropouts come the back half. So, I mean, you were safe from the Albertan talk before, but why don't we dive right on into Edmonton? So they fired
Todd
McClellan and picked up Ken Hitchcock.
Hitchhawk.
And
He's a great coach.
And I don't doubt that. And Chiarelli said, we might make some moves. I think the roster is good enough.
None of us can absolve ourselves, including
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. But the big quote there is, I think the roster is good enough. And yeah, are you sure, Peter? No. Peter, your roster doesn't have Patrick Kane, or not Patrick Kane. It doesn't have Taylor Hall. Jesus, Patrick Kane. It doesn't have Jordan Eberle.
Yeah, but they have McDavid.
Yeah.
And look at how they're doing.
Yeah,
There's
they're pretty
nothing
garbage.
there.
Yeah, but if Ken Hitchcock can make them be mediocre, even just a teeny bit better, they could probably make the playoffs. The third in the division right now is the Canucks, and they're only 5 points back.
Yeah, and they're
maybe.
under 500. I mean, the Pacific is I mean,
So they could make
it's
the
garbage.
playoffs, and making the playoffs is what Chiarelli wants them to do right now, or else he loses his job.
I mean, I don't think that would be the worst thing in Edmonton if Peter
Yeah,
Chiarelli
but he
lost
doesn't
his
want
job.
that, so he did this.
No, yes, I know that, but I think that this is just the case of Edmonton cutting off the wrong head. You know what? I don't think Todd McClellan was given anything that he could really coach with.
Except for McDavid,
Well, yeah, but
a
then
generational talent,
but then you still don't have
and
wingers.
Eberle, but then not Eberle.
Yeah,
And then Dylan Strome, and then not Dylan Strome, and Ryan Spooner. Ooh, Ryan Spooner, he's gonna be a good addition there. In Edmonton.
yeah, I'm sure Edmonton.
They're gonna make some moves. They're gonna trade some.
Oh
people,
yeah,
I
for
think.
sure. I mean, their goaltending situation has been quite horrible. Cam Talbot 888 on the year. Lucic, who makes $6 million. I think this is by far one of the worst decisions Chiarelli has made in his tenure in signing
Lucic at
Milan
6 mil?
Lucic.
Yeah, he's pretty garbage.
He has 2 goals in 66 games.
It's a pretty good stat.
McDavid is in on most of the is in on about half of the goals
Yeah,
for
no
Edmonton.
shit.
No depth scoring.
Wouldn't he always be in on I don't even if he was on the Leafs, he'd probably be in less than half.
I
but,
doubt
about
it.
half.
I doubt he would. Maybe a quarter, but I doubt.
Mitch
he would
Marner
be
is probably about
being on a
half of
half.
the Leafs scoring.
Yeah, and that was an issue. It was we had no depth scoring, but
Yeah, but
that's
it's still
starting
a
to
thing.
come back. And we don't have one guy who's trying to carry the load. We have a couple of guys.
That's fair.
The Oilers have
They have Zach
McDavid
Kassian.
and Leon Draisaitl is decent, and Ryan Nugent Hopkins
Can't say
is
he's
decent.
good. Draisaitl was really good.
But these are players that just haven't been developed properly.
Oh yeah, and the Oilers just have not developed their players very well, and it's turning out to be a gigantic issue in what's happening, especially for Chiarelli. If he is gone at the end of the year, I wouldn't be upset.
I think the Oilers, Oilers faithful want him to be gone at the end of the year. His contract does expire come the end of the year, and Ken Hitchcock's contract also runs through the end of the year. So it could just be this is Peter Chiarelli's last swan call, but he is being given the reins to clean up his own mess, and I think they should take the keys away from him because Edmonton has not been good for very, very long. I think I saw a
They
stat
made the
that
playoffs that 1 year
I
because
think
Talbot.
I think I saw since their Stanley Cup against the Hurricanes in 2006, they've been through 11 coaches or something like that, or 9 or 11 coaches.
That's a good amount.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's. I think they're just.
When was Chiarelli hired? I don't remember.
14-15, if I'm not mistaken. But I think Ken Hitchcock is a great coach, and there's nothing against him. He retired.
Yeah, retired. Everyone
In
retires.
April.
forcibly retired.
But he's an Edmonton native, so he's going home. There's a good article in Sportsnet from Mark Spector.
He could be the start of a turnaround there.
I would hope so. Man, Edmonton has been bad for so long. I think the Oilers fans just need a good team out there. 'Cause it's not like Edmonton's not a good hockey market.
Because they got McJesus. Man, if the Leafs got McJesus, we would win the Stanley Cup this year.
I don't think that's crazy, but we have complementary pieces. Edmonton does not.
What if we got McDavid and then we had
Can
him
we
in the
not?
AHL?
Can we not talk about horrible trades after a week of listening to some horrible trades for William Nylander?
Not trades for McDavid. But I'm saying if we were one number off from getting McDavid. What if you got McDavid, put him in the AHL for a year, tanked, got Matthews still, and have the dynamic duo?
McDavid would have had to go back to junior, but
Junior.
so we could get 1,000 points in junior.
That'd be hype.
You gotta crush it. You gotta crush
That'd
every
be hype.
league.
Or he could join the Leafs, and then they send everyone else away, and just so they
So they would be the Oilers today.
So they'd literally be the Oilers, and they would tank, and then we would have Matthews, and then we could also sign Tavares if we wanted. But then we have $0 left in our bank account.
Well, but man, I think this is all just horrible roster construction by Peter Chiarelli. He's failed Edmonton. He's failed the market. The pieces he's brought in have been horrible. I don't think he's made a fantastic move or a great move yet in Edmonton. They've all been
Subpar.
Yeah, there's nothing really good there.
Very subpar.
Yeah, and I mean you're not having players playing for you, but at some point you have to look at the general manager and just be like, "What are you doing, buddy?"
It falls on them. Yeah, it goes up. It's problems from the top down, and I think the Oilers are gonna have to be good the rest of the year.
And I mean, it's not out of the question. It's not out of the question that the Oilers can make the playoffs.
If Cam
They're in a
Talbot
crappy
picks it
division.
up,
Cam Talbot plays league average, and
McDavid is McDavid. They can make the playoffs.
Yeah, but I think that it would only cause more harm to Edmonton. Man, I don't
in the long run, maybe.
Edmonton has been so bad for so long, and I don't get it.
If they tank again, Jack Hughes.
I don't think you can tank with McDavid on your team, though.
Send him to the minors.
Send him to the minors.
Make it pass through waivers. Let's waive McDavid.
That'd be so funny.
That's a risky maneuver.
Yeah, but you also got to pick up the contract.
Yeah, but if you waive McDavid, some other team just has to find a way to get $13 million on their cap. But I mean,
it's a lot of money.
It's Connor McDavid.
People would I would fire some people. I would.
Yeah, cuts will be made.
I would
just
trade
so
some people.
McDavid on your team.
Would you trade Matthews for a bag of pucks?
And McDavid.
What a steal!
Yeah,
I think I would trade McDavid for Matthews in a bag of pucks. Because I think bag of pucks is worth something, and it adds.
I think bag of pucks is better than McDavid's line mates right now.
Oh no.
Bag of pucks will get more tap-ins. It'll go right to the net.
Man, like, he's so good. But the Oilers are so bad.
He has nothing to
Edmonton.
follow up.
Wave McDavid. Like,
Yeah,
let's jump
send-
on the Wave McDavid train.
Send him to the
Give him
buds.
give him a better chance, like to actually win a cup, as opposed to just leave him on Edmonton and be like, well,
If
he
they
was a
get
star.
one more really good player, they could
And a
start to do
goalie.
something. And a goalie. Yeah, that's important. If Cam Talbot plays like Cam Talbot 2 years ago, they can make the playoffs for sure. And they might be able to.
been good since then.
I know. It's annoying. He's a Canadian boy, isn't he?
Like, most are.
Most goalies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of French goalies,
Like Quebecois.
like Quebec.
Quebecois.
Yeah, Fleury,
No, you have to say it properly.
Price, Fleury.
There we go.
Price is from BC.
My name is Marc
Oh yeah,
Andre
Price is from
Fleury.
BC.
So why don't, before we get all into the off-topic, talk about that trade, the Spooner for Strome trade.
So 1-for-1, and they even what's it called? The Rangers retain $900,000 of Spooner's contract to make it equal to Strome's contract, and so their cap hits are the same. It's literally player for player.
Like, I want Ryan Strome to do well so badly. He was the 5th overall pick 2011 draft, and that seems like forever ago.
It was a while back, and he has not really shown. Didn't he play with Marner?
I think so.
Yeah, he played with Marner on the Knights.
Or something like that.
Or Kadri.
It might have been Kadri. That would make more sense.
Yeah, no, Marner's too young.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Kadri. But they were, like, tearing it up together. And then now it's... Or was it McDavid?
No.
That was
Different.
Erie. That was Erie. Yep.
Different Strome.
That was Ryan Strome.
No, this is Ryan Strome.
That was Dylan Strome.
Yes.
Yeah. My bad.
Oh, how could you mix
My
something
bad.
up so major?
Like, I just think it's just a roster move where you're moving on two guys who haven't really performed in one place.
Yeah, I don't really see anything big coming from this. Like, I don't think either team is going to get a huge boost or, like, tumble to the ground because of this. Unless Strome does really well this coming year. Because then everyone's going to look at Edmonton and be like, Eberle went to Strome, and then you traded Strome for Spooner. But now Strome is sick and Eberle's sick, and you are with Spooner. So you did it twice.
Yeah,
It'd be
look,
funny.
Edmonton doesn't know how to develop his players. We already mentioned that. The first round pick in that draft still didn't turn out to be anything fantastic in Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He's good, but he's not fantastic. And
But who...
look at everybody else that went in that draft. Landeskog, Scheifele.
That's the worst. When you, like, have first, and then you pick somebody, but then they're worse than, like, the third, fourth.
Yeah, it's just a dud of a pick.
But that was Nuge's draft year. Like, everyone knew that it wasn't 100% going to be, like...
No, yeah.
There wasn't that one guy like Matthews or McDavid that everyone knew was going to be, like, the guy.
Yeah, it was 100% a crapshoot. It was, you hope he's a good, like, you have a good
Like, they're all good
amount
players.
of players that are decent, but there's no obvious
never know.
number one.
Yeah, you never know who's going to turn into that superstar.
But the problem in Edmonton, like we said, is whole roster
And they can't develop players well.
They can't develop players. I mean, like,
It's-
Wait. You better wait till Uber leaks Edmonton's video. Oh, it's over then.
Twitter
They're
was
gonna be
fantastic
talking-
this weekend. Might I say, after that trade, everybody just going after the Oilers, and
Everyone hates the Oilers.
Oilers Nation just isn't having fun. But why don't we get to another fan base that also is not having fun? In the St. Louis Blues, they've been garbage this year.
And Mike Yao, when Ken Hitchcock
What?
got fired. Yao. I don't know how to say it.
What?
How do you say it?
Mike Yo?
Oh, I thought it was Yao.
Yow.
Yeah, brother.
Um,
That's Yo.
Sorry, boys. Like,
I thought you were an English major.
okay, boys. Like,
Mike Yow.
whatever. Okay, Mike Yao is out. He came in for Ken Hitchcock a couple of years ago, 2.5, I think.
Yeah.
And now Craig Berube's there. Mike Yao didn't really do anything.
He also called his own firing in October, which I thought was pretty funny. He was just like, "Yeah, I shouldn't be in this job."
Yeah, he was like, I need to watch out for my job. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
but his team second last only to the Kings, which they lost to in a shutout that led to his firing. They're now 7-9-3 on the year, and like I don't get why the Blues are bad. I don't. They got Ryan O'Reilly this summer, and I thought that was a really good move.
They still have Tarasenko.
They have Tarasenko. They got Bozak.
Who's their goalie? They lost Carter Hutton.
It's always been goaltending, and I think it's Jake Allen.
Oh.
But
He was never that number one starter guy that I would have picked.
No.
I wish he was, man.
No, and I think the issue is, yeah, it is Jake Allen. I think the issue is goaltending in St. Louis, but like it's been an issue for so long, man.
And they can't develop. It's so hard to develop a good goalie.
No, yeah, but
'Cause
like you
never
could
know.
trade for one.
You can trade for one. They haven't. They have to, but who are they going to trade for him?
Goalies are very hit or miss.
Maroon was not a huge addition.
No, but Patrick Maroon has some good underlying numbers, and he's a good depth piece. And they needed some of that, and depth scoring is an issue for them. They also picked up David Perron, but like I don't know, man. Like I don't know what the issue is with St. Louis. They fired their coach earlier enough, so it could have just been Yeo getting in. Was just got in his own head that he was going to lose, and sometimes that can do it. It's all between the ears. So maybe the coaching change will bring about a playoff run for St. Louis, but who knows?
Yeah, I have no idea, but it could change everything. Like Edmonton, it's hard to say. They have a bad track record.
Yeah,
St. Louis
I
also
think
has a
of
poor
these
track
teams,
record.
St. Louis is the team that I would predict to go to the playoffs.
Yeah, but
It's hopeful. It's very hopeful.
I don't know. That's a stretch. I don't really see St. Louis doing anything else. Like they missed the playoffs last year.
Yeah, after losing 4
Um,
of 5, and Colorado was just like, I'm not going to lose a single game, and they won out and made the playoffs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
they
was,
made a good push and knocked the Blues out.
and I really think that St. Louis out of this and the Oilers, they are probably more likely to make the playoffs because they have a better core, they have more depth. But looking at it from a outsider's perspective, like I don't really see St. Louis doing much. Like they're probably going to be garbage again this year.
No, yeah, and I mean, two coaches have been put into their respective jobs, but Joel, not Mark, Jesus, Joel Quenneville is still available. Did you guys see him doing a ski shot this weekend at the Bears game?
Yeah, I did. That was good.
He's just living his life to his fullest, man.
Well, like he's making how much $6 million this year to
Yeah, I
just
think
literally
so.
do whatever he wants.
I
Yeah,
will
and,
not complain about that.
And St. Louis was asked if they would think about hiring Quenneville, and they said it's a possibility, but it's not probable. So I think they're gonna go a different route. Try maybe go college. We've seen a couple of college coaches step in to the league this year in Dallas and New York. So they could go that route. Berube was really good for them in Chicago in 16-17. He won the division title, so maybe they might just stick with him. He was slapped with the interim tag, but a lot of people are thinking that he might be there to stay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. And like you got to get new coaches in the league. You can't have the same guys forever. But if they did pick up Joel Quenneville, like I wouldn't be surprised.
No, yeah, but I don't think Joel Quenneville is an acquisition you make midseason.
No, yeah, I think that this would be an after the season problem.
Because I think Joel Quenneville is a person you build your team around.
That'd be funny though, going from the Blackhawks and then you go to the Blues.
Yeah.
What a stark change.
Like they're pretty big rivals.
Yeah, I know all their secrets, obviously, and then fully change.
Man, Quenneville's a great coach. Hitchcock's a great coach. Like most guys that get fired in the league now are great coaches, like McClellan. Like it's not their fault. It's just like a team doesn't perform, and you got to do something to shake it up. And if it's not getting rid of a player, it's getting rid of a coach or a manager or something.
Yeah, and also it's like there's a lot of great coaches out there, but sometimes it's just not their like type of the style that they put into these young guys coming into the league. It's just not what the style is anymore, and they're just too stuck in their ways. So it's something they have to fix, and that's why some of these guys are just getting fired and losing their jobs,
Yeah.
being
And-
outdated.
Yeah, and I mean, injury doesn't help, and I mean, so many players have gotten injured this year. Just
Like this past week, like
I
there's a
know.
big list.
Just a couple of things, a couple of guys to note: Lindholm and Gibson from the Ducks. Bergeron out for 4 weeks. He's month to month. Rib injury. They weren't so specific there. Ben Bishop out in Dallas. Trocheck, a big one out in the out with the Panthers. They're thinking long term there. Zuccarello out for the Rangers. Elliott for the Flyers.
A lot of these are day to day.
Big is Vasilevsky. He fractured his foot, 4 to 6 weeks. Oshie and Kuzi are out in Washington, and I mean, I don't remember there being this many injuries last year at about this time. It just seems like all of the big names are getting hit.
No, yeah, like I think that every year, like similar amounts of players get injured, but I think some years you get lucky and it's less, or not lucky, I should say, but like less of the known players and less of the big players are getting injured.
Like your big names.
Like, yeah, but a lot of the big names this year are out.
They obviously just wanted to go home for celebrate American Thanksgiving.
American
It was
Thanksgiving is
big plan.
lit.
American Thanksgiving is wrong Thanksgiving.
Celebrate a genocide,
Eh.
kind of.
Should we talk about the Ottawa versus Florida, though? One of the most cursed games that happened on Monday this week.
There's a couple of good games this week. There was that one, the 7-5. I mean,
No, but everything that unfolded where
with the Mike Hoffman stuff.
or no, what happened is about 17 minutes or 3 minutes left in the first period. There was a medical emergency in the stands, so they stopped play for 30 minutes. So essentially, they had a pseudo intermission, and then they resumed play for 3 minutes. And in that 3 minutes, I forget, someone got injured, and then more people kept getting injured as the game kept going on. And then the third period was nothing, but it was literally everyone kept getting injured. The casters almost got hit with a puck. It was everyone's on Twitter being like, "This is the most cursed game ever. Just end it now."
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I didn't hear about that.
it was Ottawa versus Florida. No one's really watching that game for content.
No, yeah, and I mean, a
Fair.
big physical game, the Battle of Alberta this week. Zach Cassian committed a crime.
Yeah, that was very not okay. He just punched Chuck a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And, Matthew Tkachuk can make you feel that way, but you can't just attack him. Like, he jumped on him. Like, he assaulted him. Why are you allowed to do that?
It's the sport. He was caught in the
He
moment.
was, he's playing hard out there.
It's just full 60 pucks in deep.
Yeah, you gotta get that full 60 out there. You gotta forecheck, back check, and we work real hard and get that paycheck, baby.
Yeah, so, I mean, a lot of players injured, and definitely has been a very entertaining week of hockey. The Leafs have a bunch of games coming up, 5 in a row.
Yeah, who are they playing tonight?
Carolina tonight. The team,
Carolina.
just one of the, I think they're pretty snake-bitten this year. They started so hot and just can't seem to win now. They can't seem to get a goal.
Who's their goalie? Cam Ward's? No. Cam Ward moved.
Scott Darling, I believe.
Yeah.
It's Darling, Mrazek, and McElhinney.
Oh, yeah. That's where McElhinney went.
So, yeah, they have the Hurricanes tonight, the Stat Guy's favorite team in Carolina. I think after that, the week is... I can't remember the exact ones, but I mean, it's coming right at the
Blue
right...
Jackets again.
It's coming right at the right time. I mean, I think we all have papers due.
Flyers are then after that, but they're back-to-back.
I
Garrett
think-
Sparks. First or second game against Blue Jackets or Flyers?
I'm playing against Flyers.
Okay. Fair. You got Bobrovsky,
I think,
the sheriff.
I think Babcock just needs to play Sparky a little bit more. Help with
Sparksy.
Sparky, get out there, boy!
Sparky.
I finally get to play. Mom, I did it.
I'm surrounded.
Good
by
job, Sparky.
Idiots.
Oh, you're the one complaining.
Okay.
And with that, why don't we call this episode adieu for Declan DeBarb, Sebastian Court, and Ian Blumenthal here at the Real Good Procast. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Follow your hosts on Twitter at DeVarp14, at Ian_Blumenthal, and at Marshall Healy. Don't forget to follow the podcast at Real Good Procast.